I didn't even see a message pop up for that acolyte. Huh. Okay, well, I mean, it's a good thing with this room, it doesn't matter. Not like the other one, which is my favorite room, oddly enough, but it has like the most particular, than what that I sat in with Foley. But it has such a particular light spawning. Like if you're just one step off, they're like up above you, and it's like really inconvenient and annoying. Outside of that, though, it's like my favorite room. But that's a matter of paying attention. Can you come here? Why are you all the way over there? A little more forward, right there. Honestly, not 100% about the damage output on these Icors. I don't know if duplicate's better than Blood Rush. I don't. I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah, okay. Never mind. I'm just overthinking things. I wonder what was causing that damage reduction on the other mobs. Yeah, it feels like there's some inconsistency happening. I feel like that feels amazing. That feels really good. That has some sauce behind it. Just gets Fisher buffed. At least it wasn't the violence that got Fisher buffed. Can't get mad at that then. I'll say with the damage output from my mallet is becoming a little difficult to keep galvanized stacks up. Yeah, we'll definitely say that. Making it a little inconvenient. So the mallet's good and it's bad all at the same time. I gotta be more liberal in using my heavy attacks. One of the biggest things is that pretty much I one-shot anything that I hit when I hit it with a heavy attack. But with all the damage that's going out between my Sentinel, Mallet, the Spectres really don't count. They're level 400 and such. But yeah. Between Sentinel and Mallet, it's a bit of a fight right now. You gotta kill. 38,000 in 4.5 hours. Not really. Actually pretty decent. Pretty decent. So chunks really nicely. My AoE obviously suffers with duplicate, but when you have a frame that already gives so much AoE, there's really no purpose into giving yourself more AoE. This is more radius than I would cover with influence by a long shot, so does make more sense. Because like it feels like it is a little bit less than influence, but it only feels like that in an AoE perspective. How quickly I kill one single mob. That's a lot faster. It's just because of all the follow through that comes with it and everything. I'm not getting as much AoE damage as I would be. Which I think is a good compromise, though. I mean, that's no heavy attacks at all. That is really good damage for no heavy attacks. I didn't even have shock up. That was an acolyte kill. And I'll have to review that one. No clue what the hell happened. So it's a very nice situation. That was crazy. That wasn't even a 12 times. Okay, so I guess that was me earlier. That pretty much confirms that. That is impressive. It kind of feels like influence negates follow through to a regard by spreading full strength electric procs everywhere. I will say that. Like when I'm looking at these mobs and mobs I know I'm hitting with follow through, I see how their health drops and it drops in a regard as if the dots are follow through dots. That's very interesting. It's like a way to bypass it, which further supports, like, if you need the AoE damage, you're going to want to use influence. But that's probably why I'm going to want to be using heavy attacks more frequently and liberally. That'll likely make up for a lot of the situation. Yeah. And with how quickly I get combo back, I should have less reservations about using it. Where'd you go? I think that was him. I don't know. I couldn't see the red thing, so I just kind of looked for a difference on the map, and that's where I attacked. Like, where was a break in the pattern? My blind ass. I usually have to find things in this game. I don't look for the thing, I look for the break in the other things, and then I'll find the thing eventually. Yeah, using my heavy attacks more liberally definitely clears them up a lot faster. That was a really big difference. Essentially just a few attacks, heavy attack, few attacks, heavy attack. More or less becomes a heavy attack build just without the mods. The only way I could describe it at this point. It feels just like a heavy attack build, but it's not modded for a heavy attack build. I guess in theory it is, because really all it is most of the modding, really, when it comes down to how I mod melee nowadays, is it just creates itself into a stat stick, and the stats carry everything through it. Which is likely why the shock becomes so beneficial, is because every other mod is more or less a stat stick, and then it just accelerates the shock to such good levels. Unfortunately, Toxin's not the greatest dot, like, in the way of killing mobs and everything, so that's why I have to opt in for this. There's probably a world where gas works with this. It's probably a world. But you're going to lose your combo multiplier benefits if you mod this thing for gas. So that's going to be a bit of a problem when you don't have Toxin. And you're going to lose your first evolution to give you all the combo in order to make the heavy attacks more prevalent. So you're heavily at that point relying off of dot damage and not using, kind of using heavy attacks, but only during Tennokai. You're also going to have more of a requirement to keep your combo multiplier up and not have it run out, so that's going to cause a stress within itself. It is nice how Malice supports your actual negation of damage via follow through. Everything just kind of plays into each other really nicely here. I felt that way back about Octavia way back in the day, because I used to be a spin to win main. So keeping my stealth up was always something that just innately always happened. Because whole time you're doing this. And there it is. Stealth already. And it just forever stays up. I always felt that way about her, but that's like the only world where I would willingly accept her stealth. And even then, it's just like, I don't really want to be doing that. Her stealth is nice, don't get me wrong. I love it. It's phenomenal when it's active. But so it's like, stealth in general is like that. I just don't like activating it. I think it needs a rework. I never want to use her stealth. I did it at one time, and I wrecked my hands doing it. It was one of the things that started my carpal tunnel, was I don't remember how long that was. 21 and a half hours. But it wasn't just that, it was more the road to get to that 21 and a half hours. That took me like almost 2 years for that. It was way back in the day before shield gating ever existed. There was no arbitration steel path or anything like that. Didn't have any galvanized mods, and no incarnates existed. This was forever ago. I think I still have that build video on the channel. It was also my very first trade suspension. I want to say that was my very first one. I'd done like 500 rounds of solo Zenny without any problems, but survival just... It's harder to tell on a survival map than it is interception, which is understandable. Now that I have a good understanding of how the anti-cheat works and everything, it makes a lot of sense. It would be fairly complex to figure that out. I'll just kind of leave it at that. And this was before the XMS rework even. I mean, all the other things that I stated were well before the XMS rework, but still. It's crazy to think how many... There was no arcanes and weapons back then. Crazy to think how long ago it was and how different the game was. It's definitely crazy to think how different. Oh, Archon shards. There was really nothing. We had channeling damage still in melee. Oh, channeling damage. I was actually a fan of channeling damage, believe it or not. It was not a crazy good buff or anything like that, but it was pretty cool. And the melee is in a much better spot nowadays, in my opinion. But yeah, there are things I miss about it, though. Be sure, if you haven't already, to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, the little bell for notifications, Memberships start at $1, and I am trying to make a full-time push, so all support is greatly appreciated. And as always, I do hope you all take care, stay safe, stay humble, be open, and as always, never stop searching. Peace, everybody.